You have no right to be ordinary. God has called you to be extraordinary.
Come on, Liberty! Good morning. My name is Shane. I'm one of many Shanes, and it is awesome to be with you. Let me just start with this. Colossians 3:16 says, "May the word of Christ dwell richly in you as you teach and admonish one another in all wisdom through singing, psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs with gratefulness to God in your heart." So we're gonna sing a psalm, we're gonna sing a hymn, we're gonna sing a spiritual song this morning in hopes that the word of Christ might dwell richly in us. That can happen this morning as we sing. Our job is not to entertain you, our job is to be taught by you and to be admonished by you. And so come on, sing out, let's do this. You guys ready? Come on, okay. Magnify the Lord with me. Come exalt his name together, glorify the Lord with me. Come exalt his name forever. Sing through Psalm 34 together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from every fear. Those who look on him are radiant. They'll never be ashamed. Never be ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard me and saved me from my enemies. The Son of God surrounds his saints. He will deliver them. He will deliver them. All right, y'all, magnify the Lord with me. Come exalt his name together. bless his name. Let us bless his name. every day and night, never-ending praise. May our incense rise. Let us bless the Lord every day and night, never-ending praise. May our incense. We bless His name together, y'all. But freely gave him up for us all. How much more will he not with him give us all things? Christ is our hope. Christ is our peace. Christ is our everything this morning. In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my life, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest trial and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, fears are still in strife. My comforter, all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. In Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness of God in helpless babe, this gift of love and righteousness, sworn by the ones he came to save, till on that cross as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied. For every sin on him was laid. Here in the death of Christ I live. Thank you, God. Oh, there in the ground his body lay, light of the world by darkness slain. Then bursting forth in glorious day, on from the grave he rose again, as he stands in victory, since curse in death. This is the power of Christ in me. From life's first cry to final breath, Jesus commands my destiny. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand till he returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I'll stand. Okay, so are you guys okay with us doing a new song that just happened? You are the guinea pig. We did it with our little staff in Dallas where we live. But let me just read a passage, and then I think maybe singing this together would be helpful to us, to a lot of us in here. This is in Revelation 21. Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God, and he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. And death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. Let me just tell you, for those of you who've put your faith in Christ, like you've thrown your life on the finished work of Christ, your future is real bright. It's super bright. And for those of you who haven't in this place, anyone can get in on this deal. Anyone who calls on the name of Jesus for the forgiveness of their sins. We know that he's coming. He's gonna be our God. We're gonna be his people. He's gonna wipe away every tear. And we know what he has done. We may not know what he's doing right now, but we know what he's done, and we know what he's going to do. And so that should give us hope to walk into tomorrow, because he has proved that he's God and he loves us and he's in control. And so God, as we just sing a new song to you, I pray that there would be many in here that would just relax the grip on their life, and they're just the clenched fists around their world and their kingdom and their life would just relax, and they would lean into you, the one who holds all things together, the one who spoke everything into existence, everything seen and unseen, the one who knows everything about every circumstance, that we would be able to just lean into you. The chorus goes like this. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. Sing it together. I'm fighting a battle. 'Cause I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. I don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. And I'm fighting a battle There's peace that outlasts darkness, hope that's in the blood. There's future grace that's mine today, that Jesus Christ has won. So I can face tomorrow, for tomorrow's in your hands. All I need you will provide, just like you always have. Fighting a battle, 'cause I'm fighting a battle you already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. I don't know what you're doing, but I've already done it. And I'm fighting a battle you've already won. There's mercy in the waiting. There's mercy in the waiting. Manna for today. When it's long, I know you're not. You are my hope and stay. And when the sea is raging, your spirit is my help. Oh, he'll fix my eyes on Jesus Christ. I'll say that it is well. Oh, I'll say that it is well. And I'm fighting a battle you already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. I don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. Thank you, God. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. I know how this story ends. We will be with you again. You're my Savior. You're my Savior, my defense. I don't have to be afraid. No more fear in life and death. All right, I know how the story ends. Oh, I know how the story ends. We will be with you. We will be with you again. The one who saves us. You're my Savior, my defense. No more fear. No more fear in life or death. All right, let's say it like we believe it. Here we go. Oh, I know how this story ends. there's so many circumstances in this place that we would say, we have no idea what you're doing, but we know what you've done for us. And we know that you're coming again. And so we can pray this morning, cling to your word this morning. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. I'm fighting a battle you've already won.
Shane and Shane. Now, they'll be back with us tonight, and they'll have an extended time of worship in our campus collective, campus worship time tonight. And by the way, I just want to introduce you really quick. So this is Adrian here on the keyboard, and Ross over there on the drums. And of course, you've already met Shane, and then this other guy, Shane. But they'll be back with us tonight for campus community. Make sure you come out tonight. Josh Rutledge is going to be speaking tonight, so it's going to be a great night as we come together and again worship. And aren't you glad, by the way, aren't you glad that the battle has already been won? Aren't you grateful today that because of what Christ has done, because he died, was buried, and that he rose again, that today we do not live in defeat, we live in victory. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 57 says this, but thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. And so today we are here, we're walking in a world that's gone mad, in a world that is crazy, and we are walking in victory not because of what we've done, but because of what Christ has already done. And so we celebrate that as we lead up to Easter this week and remember and celebrate, reflect on what Christ has done for each and every one of us. Hey, a couple of quick things before I have the opportunity of introducing our speaker today. I want to remind you that next Saturday, a week from Saturday, April 23rd, is our Serve Lynchburg event. And we have hundreds of opportunities for students to get involved, to be a part of that. Many of you have already signed up. We've got a few slots left, and you can go and scan that barcode to get connected. We've got like over 100 different sites where people will be working. It'll go from 10:30 until 2:30 in the afternoon. And then after the Serve Lynchburg event is over, we're going to come back here, and in partnership with student activities at 5 o'clock, there's going to be an after party, a block party from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock. There'll be a concert that night. There'll be food trucks, and everyone who serves that day will get a voucher so you can get free food from the food trucks that night. Now, everybody is invited to the after party, but only those who serve are going to be able to get those vouchers and be able to get food for free. So make sure you sign up and be a part of that. It's going to be a great opportunity for us to reflect and to show the love of Jesus in our community. Now, hey, before I have the opportunity of introducing our speaker today, I want to introduce to you another group of people who are visiting with us today. And it's kind of personal for me because over at Thomas Road, we have a group of ladies who get together every week. And it's a group that we just call Widow Life. And these are ladies who have lost their spouses, they've lost their husbands, and they're kind of getting together, encouraging one another, praying with one another, walking this journey together with one another. And I got to be honest with you, one of the most joyous groups you'll ever want to meet. And so let's welcome our Widow Life here from Thomas Road that are here today. And again, they've been through a difficult road, but there's a lot of joy up there in that box. So it's great to have you guys with us today. Now, today we are talking about like difficulties and journeys. So last week, we had Catherine Wolf here. We did an amazing job. And then today our speaker, kind of in the same vein, is just simply this. Like when life throws you curveballs, when life is difficult, when life is a challenge, our God is still in control. That no matter what you walk through, our God will bring you through, as we've already shared today, in victory. And so today, Jennifer Rothschild is here. And by way of introduction, I want you to watch this video.
Blindness is not something I was born with. When I was a little girl, I could see just fine. But when I entered middle school, things began to change. I became a little more clumsy. My math grades began to plummet. I didn't realize it was because I couldn't see the numbers on the chalkboard. One night I was walking with my mom to a friend's upstairs apartment. I was tripping up those stairs and my mom stopped and asked, "Jennifer, can you not see the stairs?" And my response was just as surprised. "What do you mean, Mom? You can see the stairs?" And within a few days I was diagnosed at an eye hospital with a disease called retinitis pigmentosa. It's a degenerative disease in both of my eyes, in my retinas, and it's caused the retinas to deteriorate, and that meant the prognosis was total blindness. I remember driving home from that eye hospital and feeling my fingertips and wondering if I was going to have to read Braille and how I would finish high school. What started as legal blindness quickly became darker and darker until, over a period of years, all the light I once saw was replaced with darkness. But within the loss, I've received so much. Blindness has introduced me to myself. I've learned that I can't change blindness, but I can change my perspective. And when my eyes are grateful, I really can see goodness and grace. I've learned that blindness does not define me, but it has truly refined me, and it still does.
Well, hello. I am so happy to be with you today. I have enjoyed worshiping with you. I have enjoyed listening to you. You guys rock. I'm just saying. Now, let me just tell you, that man who just walked me on stage, I met him when I was in a place similar to this, when I was at Palm Beach Atlantic University. I was a freshman, and I was dating this guy named Tony. And Tony introduced me to his roommate, Phil. Go ahead and say it. Sorry, Tony. Tony ended up being the best man in our wedding, though, y'all, so it's all good. Now, if you talk to my husband, Phil, he would have said that when we started dating, that he pursued me because he knew I couldn't see him, and he thought that meant he had a chance. He is not right. Here's the thing. We dated for almost 4 years as college students, and then finally, after 4 years, when I graduated, that man finally accepted my marriage proposal. So, he happens to be a professor also, and his name is Philip Rothschild, so that means I have my very own Dr. Phil, which works out nicely. But I want you to know, when I stand up here before you, so much of my story that you see in front of you is because of what you do not see, which happens behind the scenes. I'm thankful for the man that God gave me. I still call him my boyfriend, even though we've been married 35 years. Today, I want to paint for you 4 scenes. I want you to see 4 pictures in your imagination. And as you see them, what I'm hoping you will see is a picture of yourself and a picture of God. Because as A.W. Tozer says, what comes into your mind when you think about God, that is the most important thing about you. So, I'll ask you 2 questions before I paint the first scene for you. Do you think that God is just not fair? Or do you think that God is just not fair? Scene 1. It's 1993. My husband's in grad school. We've got no money. We live in Tallahassee, Florida, and we have 1 child. So I was in my late 20s, and we had a 3-year-old, and it was summertime, and our local theater did what I call the cheap movie series for kids. Okay, so during this, you could pay $1 and you would get popcorn and a movie. And so I had done this 2 weeks in a row with my friend Becky and her little boy David. Well, I gotta be honest, you guys, after the second week, I was so bored. And so I thought, I gotta do something, right, to get through these movies. And so I had something in a shoebox in my closet that I had had for about 10 years. And I literally had avoided it because I knew what I would experience when I listened to it. It was a cassette tape. You know what those things are? Those little, yeah, those things. And so I had this cassette tape, and I thought, I'm gonna take that with me. And so I got my Sony Walkman. I happen to have one of those little obscure little earbuds, so I stuck it all in the diaper bag. And when the movie started and I knew every eye was fastened on that screen, I pulled out that earbud, I pushed play on my Sony Walkman, and I listened to a woman named Marilyn Ford tell a story. It was very similar to mine. She talked about how, as a young woman, she lost her sight. And it was gray and foggy and dark at first, but within just a few years in her 20s, it became totally dark. I could totally relate to that. She talked about how when she had her first child, how difficult it was to take care of a baby. I had one. I knew exactly what she was talking about. I could totally relate. She talked about how in frustration, there were days she would just cry out, God, would you please just heal my eyes? I knew exactly what she meant because I'd done the same thing. And then her story progressed, and it got to the point where she said one night she and her husband knelt by their bed, and with earnestness, they just begged God to please heal her eyes. And when she opened her eyes, she could see. I couldn't relate to that. She went to the eye doctor the very next day, and when she got to the eye doctor, they did the testing that they do, and the doctors were flabbergasted. She did not have enough retina to justify the amount of vision she had. It was a miracle. It was a certifiable miracle. So as I sat there in that theater, my eyes welled up with tears. Tears began to stream down my cheeks, and they were mixed. They were mixed with joy because I genuinely felt happy for Marilyn Ford. I knew exactly the burden she carried, and I was so happy that she had it removed. And then the tears were mixed with a sense of awe that God can do that. I mean, it was just a sense of awe of the miracle and the magnificence of our God. But then those tears were also mixed with the pain that the same God who could and did do that for Marilyn had not done that for me. It was one of the most difficult moments of my life, and I had been blind for 10 years. But I remember sitting in that theater that day, I looked straight into the face of blindness. And I looked straight into the face of healing. And I saw God in both. Psalm 18, verse 30 says that as for God, his ways are perfect. And sometimes they just don't feel perfect for us. And as I sat in that theater, I gotta be honest, I was saying, God, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. It's just not fair, until I looked straight into the face of healing and blindness simultaneously, and I realized, no, God is just, not fair. He is perfect in all of his ways. So what does a just God look like? Scene 2. Scene 2, it's an imaginary vineyard in first century Palestine. And it's based on the story Jesus told in Matthew chapter 20. In Matthew 20, Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is like this. It's like a landowner who gets out there and he gets workers for his vineyard. And basically the story goes that the landowner gets out there the crack of dawn and he finds some guys and he says, you want to work for a denarius today? And they say, we sure do. And so they head off to the vineyard and they start working. Now I'm just going to call these two guys Yoshi and Gabe. So Yoshi and Gabe, they forgot to wear sunscreen, but they did bring their bag lunch, and they showed up ready to work, and so they go off and they start working in the vineyard. Well, at about 9 a.m., the landowner decides to go back out and get some more workers, and so he does so, and he promises that he will pay them what is right, and so they head out. Here's Yoshi and Gabe. They're working hard. They notice these guys show up, and they're like, that's interesting. About noon, the landowner does the same thing. About 3 o'clock, he does the same thing. And so by 5 p.m., there's some more guys that even show up. And the vineyard is full of workers. Well, the whistle blows at 6 o'clock. It is closing time. And so the owner says to the foreman, gather the guys around. We're going to pay everybody. Well, Yoshi and Gabe are exhausted. They are dehydrated. They are regretting wearing sunscreen. They are regretting the fact that now they have farmer tans, but they're standing there waiting to get paid. And so the owner tells the foreman to start with the guys who showed up last and pay them first. The guys that showed up last, they got a denarius. And everyone that was getting paid was getting the same amount. So Yoshi and Gabe, you know what they're thinking? This is gonna end well, because we've been here all day. And if the guys who just showed up got a denarius, how much are we gonna get? And then they put out their hands, and the foreman put a denarius, and they began to grumble. It's not fair. And then we hear the voice of the landowner in Matthew 20, verse 13. And he says, I am not being unfair to you, my friend. Did not you agree to work for a denarius? Can you just see Yoshi and Gabe nodding reluctantly? Well, take your pay and go. Is it not my right or my prerogative to pay what I will? I wanted to pay the guys last the same amount that the first ones got. So isn't it my right to do that? Or are you just envious because I am generous? You see, Yoshi and Gabe, they missed the whole thing because they were so focused on it being fair. If he got it, I should get it. If she gets it, then I should. She's never done anything right. How come life's so easy for her? Have you seen how she lives? And everything seems to go right. It is just not fair. It is just not fair. The landowner was just. He promised a denarius, he paid a denarius. It would have been unjust if he had broken his promise. It wasn't about fairness, it was about being just. And we can trust that God is just, even when it doesn't feel fair. In fact, I think we need to be cautious about demanding and expecting fairness from God anyway. Scene 3. Scene 3, it is the Pacific Northwest. I'm speaking at a women's conference, and it's in the early 2000s. And when I got the invitation to speak at this conference, I gotta be honest, y'all, I was like, really? Did you read my bio? Are you sure you want me to come speak at your conference? And here's why. Because as you are probably familiar, people apply and interpret scripture differently when it comes to healing and faith. And I knew this particular group was more of the ilk that if one had enough faith, then one would not suffer and one would be healed. So I was pretty shocked, honestly, that they wanted me to come speak, because I thought, well, dude, I'm like the poster child for sometimes God doesn't heal, but okay, I'm happy we're gonna talk about this. So I show up, and I was gonna speak 3 times. So on Friday night, the worship was beautiful. I get up to share, and all I did on Friday night was tell some of my story. And really, I talked about how God can make it well with your soul, even if it's never well with your circumstances. Well, when I was finished, the woman who was in charge of the conference, she got up and she thanked me. She was gracious, but she said a couple little itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny things that I thought, I don't think the sister really liked some of the things I said. But then I thought, okay, Jennifer, you can be being overly sensitive. You're reading into it. Just don't worry about it. Let it go, let it go. This was before Frozen, and I was letting it go. And so Saturday morning arrives, and I was going to be teaching Saturday morning about God's deliverance. So I remember distinctly, I stood up and I shared some principles about God's deliverance, and I spoke out of Daniel, how the 3 Hebrew children, they were thrown into that fire, remember? And I made the point that sometimes God delivers us through things, not just from things. Even so, he is our deliverer. And we say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Well, when I finished, this time the sister in charge got up and she was not very cryptic, okay? It was very obvious. She said a couple little things. I thought, she really does disagree with me. She does not like what I said. And so she refuted a couple things, which was still her prerogative. But here's the thing. I got really nervous. And the reason I got so nervous is because we had a break, and then my last session, I knew what I was going to teach on. I was planning to teach out of 2 Corinthians chapter 12. That is the chapter in the New Testament where we find that Paul has a thorn. And let me just be clear, the thorn that God did not remove. And I thought, the sister is not going to like it. She's not going to like that there's a thorn in that Bible verse, and she's not going to like that I'm going to talk about this thorn. So I literally, during the break, I talked to the friend I was traveling with. I prayed. I'm like, Lord, I do not have to help me change. If I need to change this, I do not want to cause trouble. I don't want to make a deal out of something that's not a deal. But I really sensed the Lord was saying, you teach on it. And I was like, okay, all right, listen. If the thorn is still in 2 Corinthians 12, when I get up to teach, I will talk about it. But if you want to remove it between now and then, we're good. Well, of course, the thorn was still there. So I got up and I talked about life with thorns. And the God who can remove thorns sometimes chooses not to. Why is that? Because only grace is sufficient. We don't want to be hoodwinked in this life to thinking that thorn removal is sufficient. Otherwise, we settle for less. Grace is sufficient. So when I sat down, the woman in charge stood on the stage. I was sitting on the front row. My friend told me later, she pointed down to me, and this is a direct quote. I would like to thank our little speaker. I thought, well, the sister has decided to be totally obvious now. And then she went on, y'all, and she began to very clearly refute several things I said. And then it followed with this. The band came on stage and the music began. And she said, and I quote, to an audience full of women who were carrying heavy burdens, who were longing for deliverance and healing, she said, every woman in this room deserves to be healed. Every woman deserves it. So if you believe that you deserve to be healed, stand to your feet. The music swelled. Women began to stand. Tears were flowing. I could hear sobbing. But the little speaker and her travel buddy remained seated on the front row. My friend Karen, who was traveling with me, she kind of talked like a ventriloquist. What do you want to do? I'll do whatever you do. And I said to her, I can't stand. Now, why is it that I could not stand? It wasn't because I don't think God can heal me. Absolutely, he can. It has nothing to do with my faith or worthiness. It's a sovereign act of his mercy. Why did I not stand? Not because I think, well, I have spiritual low self-esteem. God doesn't really like me. I've misbehaved. Or I'm Baptist. Does he even do that for us? No, the reason I did not stand was because of the exact verbatim plea that she said over and over and over, you deserve it. You deserve to be healed. You deserve to be healed. Stand up if you believe it. Here's the thing. I deserve nothing from God. Nothing. But here's the thing. What I do deserve, I did not get because he is just not fair. That's what Psalm 103 verse 10 says, that God does not treat us as our sin deserves, nor does he repay us according to our iniquity, but as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our sins from us. It's just not fair. 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9, you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, who, though he was rich, for your sake became poor, so that through his poverty you might become rich. That's just not fair. Oh God, thank you for lavishing us with your divine, unfairness. May we never, ever be anything less than grateful. So what do we do when we find ourselves in the middle of a season that's hard? If we find that life has blindsided us with something we never expected, and we literally feel those emotions, and I get it, we feel them. God, it's just not fair, it's just not fair. I want to give you the fourth scene. The fourth scene is right here in this room today. It's right there where you're watching this today. It's in your life, your pain, this semester, this season, this difficult illness, this moment, this scene. What do you do when you feel like God is just not fair? Because as Tozer said, what comes into your mind when you think about God is the most important thing about you. So you got to know what to do with this. Because until we accept God in his wholeness, we will never experience our own. Sometimes we look at God and we just think, well, I just don't feel it's fair. I just don't feel you're fair. I don't feel you're fair. My brothers and sisters, he is called I am, not I feel. So what do we do when it doesn't seem fair to us? I'm going to give you 4 things. This is going to spell the word fair, F-A-I-R, so that you can remember it. So the first is this. In this scene of your life, when things aren't well and it doesn't seem fair, you are going to focus on Jesus. F, focus on Jesus. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2 says that we are to fix our eyes on Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him, he endured his cross, even though he despised the shame. And now he is sat down at the right hand of the Father. Verse 3 says, let us consider him who endured such opposition from sinful men so that we will not lose heart. We focus on Jesus. I love that the King James Version says, fix your eyes on Jesus. You know why? Because when you fix your eyes on something, they are fastened there. And when you have fixed your eyes on something, it means there is no longer disrepair when something is fixed. Sometimes we get so caught up in what seems unfair because we fix our eyes on how good they've got it. Or we fix our eyes on how things just seem so unjust. And as we fix our eyes on everything else, we cannot be fixing our eyes on Jesus. And so I challenge you, if this scene of your life is one of the most painful, difficult, or confusing ones you've ever lived, stop focusing on your problems. Stop focusing on the theorizing that you put behind that problem. Focus on Jesus, because 12:3 of Hebrews says that when you do that, when you consider him, you realize he endured opposition from sinful men that was just not fair. And when you consider him, when you focus on him, you will not lose heart. You can take courage and live out this scene well. Second thing you do in this scene of your life starts with the letter A. Admit your pain. Admit your pain, or maybe for some of you, it's admit your powerlessness. Because those of us who have trouble fixing our eyes on Jesus, it's usually because we're problem fixers and we're trying to fix problems. So it's hard for us to admit our powerlessness. A, admit your pain and powerless. Psalm 62, verse 8 says, trust in the Lord at all times, O people. Pour out your heart to God, for he is a refuge for you. Sometimes when we're living out a difficult scene in our life and we think it's just not fair, we're like, God, where are you? You're not my refuge. I need a refuge. Perhaps it's because we have isolated ourselves from the only source of help we have, because we're unwilling to admit our pain or admit our powerlessness. Sometimes you don't experience God as your refuge until you pour out your heart to him. The Bible is full of psalms of lament. They give you a path for those unruly feelings to travel when you don't know what to do with them. If you follow those psalms of lament, they bring you to a place of redemption and trust as you pour out your heart to him And then you realize he's a refuge for you. He's a refuge for you. He is a refuge for you. So admit it. Go ahead and admit your pain and powerlessness, because here's the thing. I tended to be just I had a natural stoicism to my personality when blindness hit, and I still do. You give me much time alone with myself in my own head, and I can become a Russian poet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not pretty. But here's the thing. If you don't pour out your heart to God, if you repress that, repression will lead to depression. But honesty will lead to intimacy. So admit your pain and powerlessness. Third, you've got focusing on Jesus. You're going to admit your pain and powerlessness. Third, you're going to invite his presence into this scene of your life. You're inviting his presence into this scene. Psalm 145, verse 8 says that the Lord is near to those who call on him, to those who call on him in truth. You tell him the truth. You invite him in. And as he comes into your pain, into this difficult scene of your life, suddenly you begin to experience purpose and a recognition that you're not alone. So invite him in. Sometimes what we do with our pain is we take every brick of bitterness and resentment and anger and we build a wall. And what does that wall do? It separates us from God. You surrender your bitterness, your resentment, your anger. You just lay it down and let it become a bridge that connects you to the heart of God, where you invite him in to your pain. Fourth thing you do in this scene of your life, if it's hard, begins with the letter R. You're going to rest in the mystery of God. You're just going to rest in the mystery of God. Psalm 37, verse 7 says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Don't fret and wring your hands over all the evildoers and what's going on. You just rest in the Lord and wait patiently. There are some mysteries you will never understand. The secret things belong to the Lord. And if God chose to give you answers, that would be because he would believe for you the answer would satisfy you most. But I gotta be honest with you. As someone who loves to read, and I'm like a huge fan of dead authors, especially C.S. Lewis, and I love to learn, I love to explore, right? He's just the best. But nothing I've ever read in his book has satisfied me. There's never been an answer that has satisfied me. It's only God's presence that satisfies us. And until we stop demanding that God meets our expectations and choose to simply rest in the mystery of what we don't understand, we're not going to experience him in his wholeness, nor will we experience our own. I do love C.S. Lewis, and I listen to his books all the time. And one of my very favorites is the book, Till We Have Faces. And so as I've listened to that book many, many times, there's always a passage at the very end that just slays me. Now, I would say it's on the last page, but I don't know what it is in print, but I know it's in the last 20 or so minutes of the book as I listen to it on audio. And if you're familiar with the book, it's a myth retold, and it's a woman, and she's kind of upset with the gods because things haven't turned out like she likes, and she has this constant argument with them, and gets to the very end of the book. And this is what C.S. Lewis writes. He says, I know now, Lord, why you utter no answers. Because you alone are the answer. Sometimes we settle for less. Sometimes we settle for less. God, if I could just figure out why you let me be blind and why you haven't healed me yet and how I can manage it well and how I can mitigate it getting worse. If I could just figure all this out, I will be satisfied. Sometimes, Lord, you utter no answers because you yourself are the answer. There is nothing more satisfying than the presence of God in your life. That's why you invite him in and you rest in the mystery. You know, if I had a chalkboard up here and if I had a big piece of white chalk and I wrote a word on this side, R-E-S-T. What would that spell? And then on this side, if I had a big piece of chalk and I wrote another word, R-E-S-I-S-T, what would that spell? So class, there is one letter in this word that does not occur in that word. What is that one letter? Me. It's not all about me. So if you're feeling it like you are in the deep waters right now, and you think these deep waters of suffering and sorrow, they are going to take me down, I'm going to drown there, I want you to know God is just. And those same deep waters that you think are going to drown you are the very waters that God can use in your life to cleanse you and to carry you to a deeper and better place. So don't give up, because God is just, not fair.
So I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you'll do, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. There's peace that outlasts darkness, hope that's in the blood. There's future grace that's mine today, that Jesus Christ has won. So I can face tomorrow, for tomorrow's in your hands. All I need you will provide, just like you always have. All right, y'all. I'm fighting a battle you already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. There's mercy in the waiting. There's manna for today. And when it's gone, I know you're not. You are my hope and stay. And when the sea is raging, your spirit is my help. You fix my eyes on Jesus Christ, and I'll say that it is well. Oh, I know that it is well. I'm fighting a battle that you already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you're doing, the story ends, we will be with you. We will be with you again. My Savior, my defense. You're my Savior, my defense. No more fear. No more fear in life or death. Okay, we can walk into tomorrow. Here we go. 'Cause I know how this story ends. You're our God. We will be with you again. You're my Savior. You're my Savior, my defense. No more fear. No more fear in life or death. I know how this story ends. I'm fighting a battle that you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. You sent me, God, and I'm fighting a battle you've already won. Just one more time, y'all. 'Cause I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you'll do, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle, so you've already won. Y'all have an awesome, awesome day. We'll see you tonight. All right.